What's up, guys? So we're having a little bit of trouble here in the back room. As you can see, there's no water. So I've been going through and systematically testing what the issue is. I'm assuming it's a heater somewhere. And what I've been doing is basically unplugging each one individually to try to figure out where the issue is. I'm going to assume it's a heater right now because the first thing that I unplugged from the power strip that's running this section right here was the light, and it tripped again. So I ran it for a couple minutes with this side going completely fine, no issue. The amount of humming coming from the panel. So I got quite a few. I'm going to go through and unplug each heater and see which one actually could be causing it to trip, or maybe I'm just over juicing this light. Not 100% certain. Doesn't matter if I move it down to this plug here, because it's running off the same breaker. So yeah, we got a couple things to figure out. So it's one thing first thing in the morning to come in here and you're like, there's no bubbles, and the phytoplankton was all settling. I actually have one that crashed. This one right here crashed. It started crashing before the power went out, but I got fish in these tanks, so I need to figure this out pretty quick, and I got about 40 minutes to do it, so I'm not going to be able to film, but I will give you guys a recap on what happened here. Alright, so it was pretty easy to figure out. It's one of the heaters down here in this tank. Basically, I just kept on hitting the reset button. I kept on unplugging stuff and noticed that one of them actually started smoking, which is kind of crazy. I think I figured out what my issue is. It's not that the heater went bad, is that my airflow got salt creep on my plug. I can see some water building up there. So because that pump's running so hard up top, it was splashing water, splashed water onto my electrical, which is sitting upwards, and tripped it. So I'm gonna go ahead and clean that up, and we'll probably get that heater out of there for now. And I got a pile of them right here that I can get a new one going, but it wasn't the heater's fault. It was that I got the bubbles going a little too hard up there, so we'll turn those down a little bit. And we might consider a lid for that top tank and change the how we have that power strip set up. So that right there is, obviously not a good thing. There's some sloppiness there on my part, right? I mean, it's not completely sloppy, but because that pump or that sump, whatever, I haven't had any caffeine yet, I'm sorry, but because this sponge was going really hard, it was shooting salt everywhere. You can see that there's a little bit of salt creep on the back of that rack. And you can see salt creep right there on the outlet. Perfect. This little socket buster ground fault indicator did its job. Now, it's not great that it did it at night, and also that the tanks have cooled down a little bit, but at least we figured it out. We can fix it and address it, and that's just a very, very good reminder of making sure that you're using a ground fault indicator. Not that I would have gotten shocked from that, but it definitely could have prevented a fire, because that could have just went up in smoke. That's the importance of that, because that salt creep going in there, building up. A little bit of smoke was actually coming out of that plug, like the third or fourth time that I was basically forcing it to go. And on the third or fourth try, started seeing smoke. Actually, I could hear it clicking. Ground fault indicator, folks. Make sure you have them. Make sure you're using them, because it can be a lifesaver. Absolute lifesaver. All right. So now that we got that figured out, we can mosey on with the rest of our day. What a crazy day. Crazy day. Crazy day. Whew. So, probably one of the best days that we've had yet. And I say that even though that it isn't the most money that we've made in a single day. This was by far the craziest wheeling and dealing. Like, there was a frag swap in the area, pretty close by, a stone's throw, as some might say. And at the end of it, at the end of it, a lot of the guys came over here with the intent of not going home with their corals. So one gentleman I actually had talked with prior to him coming down, and we made plans on, I've already bought from him in the past, and there was a couple things that I had asked for that I knew that he was going to be selling, and we'll talk about that in a later day. I'm wrecked. We'll talk about that on a future video. But I did probably 1, 2, 3, 4, I think four, even maybe 5 store credits on some sales. But what happens with a store credit is folks turn around and they spend it, like almost immediately. And we sold a lot of coral today. And I have more coral now than I did when I started the day. Crazy. Pretty exciting, pretty happy, and tired. So I don't really got much left in the tank. I'm just kind of walking around picking up as I'm talking with you guys. I'm multitasking, like, to a degree that I have yet to do. But I got more coral. I sold a ton of coral, and I have more coral than when I started the day. It's pretty good. I got some awesome pieces, but we'll probably do a coral tour video for the Monday video, because I'm probably going to be in and out on Monday. I'm not going to be here very much, so we got that going on. But I'm tired, guys. I'm going home. I want to thank you for watching. Update on the systems in the back, because we walked into a little bit of a issue this morning. Everything's good. I cleaned it up. Everything has been operating fine for the rest of the day. We're keeping an eye on it, and I'm going to be changing the orientation of the power strip before I leave. That'll be the last thing that I do. And just a crazy day. Started off with some almost disastrous things happening, and I shared that with you guys because I want you guys to, learn from my mistakes and hopefully avoid them. Even though that I made a mistake by the placement of that power strip and the amount of air that I was pushing through that sponge on that top tank, the one thing that saved me was the use of a ground fault indicator. And they are incredibly important, and you should be using ground fault indicators on your setups as well.
that's going to do it for today. Thank you so much for joining me. I will see you tomorrow right here for One Take Sunday. Let's get it.